Any Given Thursday, coming at you live here on YouTube by Chat Sports. Harrison Graham, Chase Sr. back with the latest NBA news and rumors. A lot to get into as the NBA is back. All-Star break is over, and it's time to watch some real basketball again because the dunk contest, Chase, was cheeks.
It was awful. As Micro Mike, the great Micro Mike would say, dunk contest was cheeks. Honestly, without stars, it's become an unwatchable product. Guys don't even throw down dunks. They're all attempts. They're all misses. The three-point contest has become the best event of All-Star Weekend outside of the All-Star game, which honestly, I think is a pretty good event.
The fourth quarter was great.
Fourth quarter was great. LeBron James in Ohio, for him to hit the game winner was a really cool scene. Steph Curry going off for the 50-piece. It was great, and the athletes were on full display. Dunk contest, trash.
Better dunks in the All-Star game than in the
Easily.
dunk contest.
Not even close.
Levine had one where you're like, that's your dunk.
Embiid threw down a windmill.
Yes.
He's 7 feet, 280 pounds.
Well, it's been a little icy in Texas for a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. Didn't really get much snow, but hey, it is wintertime. Do you like the snow? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let's get that chat popping, and if nothing else, the Cut Daddies will get after that. But Y for yes, N for no. Do you like the snow? Chase, I know you'll probably hit me back with you just got to be built different or something like that, but the last couple of weeks is why I just would not want to live in the North, because not that it's been bad down here, but I just don't like it when it gets below like 35 degrees. It's not fun.
Yeah, consistently cold weather is not fun, and you're not able to function the same way, obviously, as if it was warm weather. You just can't do as many things when it's cold. Now, occasionally, I like the cold weather. I think it's refreshing. I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm very used to it. The occasional snowfall is nice. Last night, I went for a run. It was 25 degrees. Don't ask me about the end of it, but the run felt really good.
Slide in Chase's DMs. We're not going to reveal it on air, but ask him how his run ended up last night.
Yeah, at Chase_Senior.
Keyword run, if you're catching my drift.
Still got 3 miles in, baby.
Yeah, still got that work in, so there you go. Daniel says no. He does not like the snow. All right, where are the ballers watching from? Where are you Hoops fans watching from? Shout out your city, your state, your country, whatever. Let us know. We are in Dallas, Texas, trying to warm up because it's like 25 degrees here, and I don't like it. So, producer Jeremy's with us, and he's trying to make fun of me, but it's all good. He's from Houston, where it's even warmer there. So, okay, you want to tell the audience, Jeremy, what G-Town is? So the first time I met Jeremy, or one of the first times, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going out of town this weekend, back to G-Town." I'm like, "Where is G-Town?"
That's Galveston, baby. G-Town, the island, B-O-I. If you ain't know, you don't know.
G-Town. Come on. That's
the real ones know.
Real ones know. The real ones always know.
The real one knows, and that's Jeremy.
If anybody's out there, you're near Galveston, Leo's Cajun Corner, best smoked riblets in the game.
Not a sponsor, but who knows in the future. Let's see. San Francisco, let's go Warriors from Denzel. New York from Greg. Brooklyn from NBA. Might be getting Kyrie back full-time soon. Greg's in New York. North Carolina from Peyton. We got MJ in Virginia. Let's see. Keep those shout-outs coming. We are here in Dallas, Texas. Lots of stuff to get into today, including a mock draft from ESPN that Chase and I are going to break down. All right, Chase, I know you're fired up for this. James Harden set to make his debut for the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow. What's going to happen? You going to have a big game in the first one? Who are they playing?
They're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think Harden goes off for a cool, calm, and collected 25 points. Embiid plays just like his dominant self has been playing over the last 2 months, which has vaulted him atop the MVP race. Harden 25, and then on Sunday, nationally televised game against the New York Knicks, a struggling basketball team right now. I think that's when Harden really shows out. To show the country, I still got it, folks.
It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how long it takes him and Embiid to fit and to coexist, because that's what this all comes down to. They're both good players. Can they work together? They're going to have to, because if not, then it's not going to be good. 25 points from NBA Tyson. He also says 5 assists and 2 rebounds. He'll get more than 2 boards. boards. He rebounds pretty well. 5 points from Greg, 17 points from NJ. Are there any restrictions on his minutes or anything? Because he was banged up before the break, or is he full go?
I don't believe so. I think he could have played after the trade, but he just wanted to continue to rehabilitate that hamstring injury and not make it look as bad that he missed the last 4 games of his Nets tenure.
Honestly, screw Weight Watchers. Whatever Harden does,
dude,
I'm doing that.
So when he was with Houston last year, it looked as though he was Santa Claus. He was rocking a fat suit. And then somehow over the span of a couple of weeks, he trims down.
Dude,
then he comes into camp this year, looks overweight again throughout the entire season with Brooklyn. I see him practicing today, draining threes from the wing. He slimmed down again. What does he do to trim weight so quickly?
He literally, it wasn't a couple weeks last year. He was wearing a fat suit in the layup line for the Rockets, and 3 days later, it looked like he was cut and ripped.
How?
I was like, what the? I mean, is he going to Magic City and just
sits in the sauna in the steam room for hours at a time?
Chase, it's all about the keto.
It's all about the keto, I guess.
Yes. Maybe he went on that 12-day cleanse or something.
He's not with Lou Williams at Magic City, I guess.
Well, if he is, he's doing the dance.
He's at Delilah's in Philly.
Not the eating. Yeah, exactly.
Delilah's gotten a lot of good business, I assume.
There you go.
Yeah.
33 minutes from NBA, 50 points from Rashard Lee.
That'd be fat.
What team's going to win the title? We got about the final third of the regular season, then the playoffs are going to be. I can't wait for the playoffs, man. This is kind of the stretch. All right, NFL's over. College basketball hasn't gotten really going yet because March Madness isn't here yet. Can we just get to the playoffs?
Got to get to the playoffs.
Just get to the playoffs. Let's get this thing rolling.
Given how things are shaking out in the East, it's like 3 or 4 games that decides the play-in games from like the top seeds in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
This, I guess, last quarter of the year, because it's never the halfway point after the All-Star break.
The last third,
20-plus games left. It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be
great playoff runs in both conferences.
NBA Tyson says Warriors. Denzel says Warriors. Bulls from Evan. Golden State from Greg. By the way, I feel like people all of a sudden have just forgotten about the Bulls. They're about to get Lonzo back. Caruso's almost back. And I've seen Patrick Williams. He hasn't doing contact yet, but he's starting to do some stuff. I feel like that's a dangerous team in the Eastern Conference. Plus, Vucevic in his final 10 games before the break was averaging 24 and 13. He's finally coming around as well. All right, appreciate you guys. Got a couple more coming in. Rashard Lee's going with your Sixers, Chase.
That's right.
See what happens there. Warriors from NBA Tyson as well. Jeremy, we good to go here? What's coming up next? All right, producer Jeremy's working on a couple.
Tweeted
things.
you, Harrison. If you want to retweet that, same with you, Chuggy.
All right, we'll get this retweet going. We can make that happen.
At Chase_Senior, give the show a retweet. We'll give you some shout-outs later on if you do so.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. Bulls are the 2019 Raptors. Do they have Kawhi though? Is DeRozan Kawhi? I don't think he's Kawhi, but he's having quite the year.
Bulls, the 2019 Raptors? I feel like
they get DeRozan.
Yeah, the Raptors that year had a really good year. They had home court advantage over the Sixers in that second round. They were the 2 seed. It's not a bad point.
Playoff Kawhi is just such a different. Like, DeRozan, as great as he's been, he's got to prove it in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he doesn't give you the defense that Kawhi does.
No.
He doesn't give you the
But if
three-point
he's
shooting
averaging
and the
28 to 30 a game in the playoffs efficiently, they're going to have a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
But what's going to happen when defenses can prepare for that for an entire series and they just back off and they say, hey, you got to shoot the 3. We're not giving you these mid-range jumpers.
The thing about his mid-range, though, is
it's wet.
And he makes contested ones, too. I mean, it's not like they're just giving him those elbow shots.
Yeah.
It's impressive what he's doing. All right, if you're excited for the NBA to be back after about a week off, like the video and get your thoughts in on that one. We got a lot coming up on today's show, so like the video, then we'll go ahead and dive on in here.
Shout out to Evan for the retweet. EvDog25, a real one.
Who's Evdog?
EvDog.
Okay,
he gave me a retweet on Twitter. As I said, I was going to give shout-outs.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, man of your word. There you go. All right, here's what's coming up on Any Given Thursday, NBA Now edition. Latest news and rumors around several teams, plus mock draft reaction to ESPN's latest mock. And then we'll kind of do a little bit of a look ahead to the second half of the season. We'll take a look at the latest MVP odds, NBA standings, etc. So we'll start right there, and then if you guys send in super chats, we'll answer those as well. Busy day here at Chat Sports, so stay with us. He's Chase, I'm Harrison. Let's take a look at the second half of the NBA season, really the final third here, Chase, as we get through NBA All-Star Weekend and now games pick back up again here. We'll kind of break down the conference standings, take a look at MVP odds and some of the other awards as well, how things sit with about 25 games left to go. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference here, Chase, and we've talked about this off air a little bit, how tight it is, really 1 through 8 in the East.
It's really the tightest that the East has been in a really long time, because you look at the Miami Heat in that one spot at 38-21, tied with the Chicago Bulls. Philadelphia 76ers went into the All-Star break with a great win over the Milwaukee Bucks in that third spot at 35-23. The Bucks are 36-24 at fifth. Cavaliers ahead of them, but the Boston Celtics still in the mix, only a couple games back from the Miami Heat, all the way down in sixth. And then the Atlanta Hawks, still kind of in the mix as well at 28-30. By the way, we're recording this on Thursday. Some games are taking place on Thursday night as we resume following the All-Star break. But the point here being, Harrison, the East hasn't been this closely tied in a really long time, to the point where in the first round of the NBA playoffs, there's going to be a really good team that gets bounced. And we're not sure who it's going to be. Is Brooklyn going to continue to climb the Eastern Conference standings with Ben Simmons sometime returning and Kevin Durant coming back into the lineup? Could a Sixers, a Milwaukee, a Miami, a Boston, another good team like Cleveland get ousted in that first round? That's what's going to happen, because some of those series are going to be wire to wire.
And it sounds like March 1st, New York City could lift the vaccine mandate, which means Kyrie Irving would be cleared to return as a full-time participant if that happens. Which team will come out of the Eastern Conference and make the NBA Finals? Let us know down in the comments who you think will make the Finals out of the East. All right, we got some hoodies on sale for you guys, a variety of ones right here for you. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. Different hoodies, different styles for different teams, different players as well. Love the player team combo ones that you can get, just like this Ja Morant one. I know there's Steph Curry ones as well. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. Love this Hornets jacket style also. You can get that one for other teams as well. Click the link. It'll be in the comments, the description of this video. Click and shop and pick up a brand new jacket or hoodie. Okay, take a look at the West now, Chase. A little bit of a different story. Phoenix has kind of separated themselves at the top. Golden State kind of feels like that clear number 2, but Memphis in the standings, game and a half back of the Warriors. At what point do we take them seriously as at least a conference finals threat?
You have to, because they're a really good team. They have a couple of really good options offensively, led by Ja Morant. It's criminal that he's not getting as much NBA MVP buzz as he should be. He's been terrific. Dylan Brooks is a really good player. Your boy Desmond Bane has been lighting it up. Jaren Jackson Jr. playing really good basketball too. Is Phoenix going to slip without Chris Paul because of the avulsion fracture in his thumb? Same injury that happened to Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo was able to play through it. Obviously a different sport with basketball. A little bit more contact and movement with that thumb as compared to being a quarterback, even though Jimmy Garoppolo obviously throwing the football. I think Phoenix is good enough and deep enough to maintain that number 1 position. But after that, things are wide open. The Warriors, prior to the All-Star break, started to slip a little bit. All year, they've been boosting the NBA's best defense, but defense has been one of the weak aspects of that team last couple of weeks. I think Memphis is scary good. I think they can upset any of these teams in the West. Utah Jazz, not really buying them as serious playoff contenders. Dallas Mavericks, that's your squad.
It's an opportunity for Dallas. If you draw Utah and you're Dallas, you should be going into that thinking we should win this series.
They should,
in my opinion, because
you have Luka Doncic,
you've got the best player in the series. So we'll
slightly
see,
above Donovan.
We'll see what happens there. I think Denver's a team to watch. Chase Jokic is having another MVP caliber year. Is Jamal Murray going to come back? We'll see if he does. That's a huge lift for them because he was clearly their second best player over the last few years. Minnesota, they would like to be for sure in that top 7 or at least top 8, so you get 2 cracks in the play-in tournament to secure a playoff spot. Then obviously, all eyes on the Lakers as well. Can they sneak in and make some noise? Like, if Chris Paul isn't healthy, a 1-8 matchup in the first round, weirder things have happened.
Let me say this. The Suns and the Warriors don't want to play the Lakers in the first round. Look, I understand they've been a disaster this year.
Still LeBron.
But over the course of a 7-game playoff series, they still have LeBron James, one of the best players in the NBA, Anthony Davis is frightening to go up against. Russell Westbrook, I'm not the biggest Russ guy, but he can still make plays happen. Malik Monk shooting around 40% from 3 this year. That's a scary team in the first round.
How about Clippers-Lakers in the final playing game for the final
That's
playoff
right,
spot?
battle for L.A.
Yeah, we'll do a watch party for that piece. Which team's going to come out of the West now? Let us know. I'm going to go with Phoenix. The Chris Paul thing is something worth monitoring, but they've clearly been the best team this year. Golden State is still a force, but I still think they're working Clay back, trying to figure out how that all works together. We'll see when Draymond and James Wiseman come back, but I'm going to go with Phoenix. Where are you going?
I like Phoenix, Golden State as well. Those are my 2 squads, but like I said, Memphis, they're for real. They can compete for an NBA title this year.
See what happens. They got the athletes to do it. Subscribe to Chat Sports. More NBA news, rumors. How about some draft coverage as well?
Hell yeah.
We're going to get into ESPN NBA mock draft reaction if you're watching live on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Free agency this offseason, it's going to be fantastic, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's take a quick look at some of these award races as well. MVP, obviously. Joel Embiid is taking not a large lead here, but he's clearly the front runner. You got Nikola Jokic and Giannis all of a sudden lurking as well as he's climbed the column in the points per game category.
Yeah, Steph there in 4th at plus 1,000. Ja Morant and Devin Booker both at 18-1 odds. I think if the season were to end today, Harrison, Joel Embiid is my NBA MVP. I think if you take him away from the Sixers without Ben Simmons all year, they'd be an awful basketball team.
Yeah.
What he's been able to do in the scoring column, rebounding, he's become a better passer, really good defensive player, blocking shots and protecting the rim. It's been great. And he's been better than he was last year when the Joker actually beat him for MVP. It's going to be a neck-and-neck race between those 2 players down the stretch.
A name not in this top 5, Luka Doncic the last month before the All-Star break.
Sneaky.
He was playing like an MVP. He's been out of his mind. We'll see if that carries over. Who will win MVP this year? Let us know. Give us a prediction. And by the way, I'm with you. Ja Morant, 5th best odds. I love Steph. I think Ja should be higher in the odds.
Yeah, me too.
I think what he's done for Memphis has been incredible. Get your votes in on MVP. Let's go to Defensive Player of the Year award now. Rudy Gobert, Chase's favorite player at plus 140. Draymond Green at plus 180. I wonder if he's missed too many games now as he's been out a little while. You got Giannis, Jaren Jackson, and Joel Embiid up there as well.
Yeah, look, here's my issue with Rudy Gobert. I think he's an overrated defensive player. Why is that? He plays one position on one spot of the floor, and all of these other guys guard multiple positions, or at least can guard multiple positions. So I think Rudy Gobert is somewhat limited. I thought Ben Simmons last year should have won Defensive Player of the Year because he guards all 5 positions at a really elite level. Rudy Gobert is not asked to do that. And in the playoffs, he often gets thrashed and picked on because he has to get out to the 3-point arc. He's slow-footed, and really his strength is around the rim. And Draymond Green is with me. He said, never compare me to Rudy Gobert, but hey, he's leading the Defensive Player of the Year race as of now.
Well, Chase thinks he's overrated. We'll ask you guys, though. Is Rudy Gobert an overrated defender? Type O for overrated, type P for properly rated. I do think he's a good defender, but, if people are saying you're the best constantly, pretty good chance it's going to be overrated. So get your votes in O or P. Rookie of the Year now. Evan Mobley just running away with this thing.
Yes,
Chase.
he is. It's crazy. Look, the upside for him during my draft evaluations, it was so high. I even said he could end up being the top player in the 2021 NBA draft class. He has some elements of his game that, as a rookie, remind me of a young Giannis. He can guard multiple positions. I think he can be a better, more natural offensive player than Giannis, but he's a terrific athlete, really heady basketball player. Giannis didn't have that at the time because he was so raw, but Evan Mobley has been great. Scotty Barnes has been a great find for Toronto. I wanted them to draft Jalen Suggs for him to be Kyle Lowry's replacement, but the pick of Barnes has worked out. Cade Cunningham has had his moments. Josh Giddey in the month of February, averaging a near triple-double, went off at MSG. And Franz Wagner, really good find for the Orlando Magic. The young core with Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs. They have something working down there in Florida.
All right, so which rookie has impressed you the most? I think what's helping Mobley out, too, is his team's winning. A lot of Rookie of the Year candidates don't win because they were, a top 3 or 4 pick, but Cleveland's having a great year. So Which rookie has impressed you guys the most? Sixth man of the year now. This is over and done with. Unless Hero gets hurt and misses basically in the rest of the games, he's going to win this award.
Yeah, it's funny. We call Kelly Oubre 30K Oubre. Anytime you put him in a video, it pops off. So maybe that happens with this one. But I think Hero, this is his award to lose. Kevin Love, good story this year. He's kind of rejuvenated his career to a certain degree. And then Montrezl Harrell, nah. Jordan Clarkson won it last year. It's Tyler Hero's award. And the most improved player of the year race. Look, we talk about Ja Morant being so low on those MVP odds. At least he's probably going to win most improved player. But this is funny because last year I thought he was great. This year he's been even better, but most improved, that's kind of interesting. Yes, he's taken his game to a new level. Yes, he's become, I don't know, in some circles, a top 5, top 10 guy. So he deserves to win a award. I think it's more most valuable player as compared to this.
What's interesting is someone made him aware that he's leading this award, and he said, well, what about Desmond Bane as most improved?
That's good,
Which
too.
I thought was a good point. I mean, he's gone from a just, good rookie to he's like a legitimate starting caliber player averaging 17, 18 points a game as a 40% three-point shooter.
Yeah, this is my favorite award of them all, even including MVP, because I love to see the development of these players, the work ethic, them being in the lab. You've seen it with all of these guys. Ja, Miles Bridges, Darius Garland, an All-Star, DeJounte Murray, an All-Star, and Anthony Simons. Without Damian Lillard and now C.J. McCollum, Anthony Simons has been getting buckets, man.
Yep, no doubt about it. Who's improved the most? Let us know what you guys think on this one, and we'll see what happens down the stretch of this season when it comes down to these awards. All right, let's see. Evan Mobley, Ja is mad overrated. How is he overrated? He's in the third year of his NBA career, and he's got Memphis third in the West.
Yeah, he's doing things athletically that Derrick Rose did when he won MVP, what Russ was doing early in his career, and he's a better player than both of them. I think he has better leadership qualities. I think he has a better all-around game. I think offensively, he is less reckless. That's a great point. But offensively, has a better shot than Russell Westbrook has ever had. So he ain't overrated.
All right, boys. We have the next up NBA mock draft. So I have this question for both of y'all. Better tournament.
Okay.
NBA playoffs, March Madness.
Chugs, by the way, I like these sneaky questions that you add.
I just leave it to Jeremy.
This is next level stuff, man.
Yeah, we call him Producer Chugs for a reason.
I'll tell you what, man. This is next level stuff,
yeah, man. This is a good question. I love March Madness, but once you get especially the second round in the conference finals, you just got these 6 and 7 game series going at it too. Can you say both? Is that a cop-out answer?
I love both. Look, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, outside of the Super Bowl, March Madness is my favorite sporting event of the year, especially the round of 64 and 32. The Sweet 16 is great, too.
The best is that you can have a team that's 2 or 3, in their bracket, win or go home,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I want the college football playoff to expand.
You know what's funny? Daryl Morey with Colin Cowherd on his podcast last week pitched doing an NCAA format for the NBA playoffs. Can you imagine how crazy that would be?
God. That would be nuts.
How much is at stake every single game? That would be nutty. And what do you think would happen with the TV ratings, too?
They'd be nuts. There'd be less overall games.
Less overall games, but more people tuning in because there's more at stake, maybe.
Maybe that's what they'll do with that
By the way, also,
tournament.
Rashard Lee said Jalen Brunson, most improved player, has to be top 10.
He's in the mix.
Shout out to Rashard Lee for giving me a retweet on Twitter, too.
Good call. Appreciate it, Rashard Lee. All right, we'll keep things moving here. We're going to react to ESPN's latest mock draft. Was it Giovanni who had this one? Whose mock was this, Chase? Do you?
ESPN. Yeah. So Mike Schmitz.
Schmitz. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. We're gonna react to that, and then we'll get into some more news and rumors around the NBA coming up in just about 15 minutes. Any given Thursday, NBA Now rolling with you. Harrison Graham and Chase Senior. Follow us on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. He is at Chase_Senior. Let's get into ESPN's latest NBA mock draft. Chase, final third of the season, part of the NBA season. So mock drafts are starting to come out.
No doubt.
Let's break it down here. Chet Holmgren, number 1 pick, going to Detroit.
Can you imagine him pairing up with Cade Cunningham and having those two guys as your 2 building blocks for a franchise that's been down in the dumps for a long while? Really good player. Of course, you worry about his size. We'll take a look at his numbers here just momentarily. Jabari Smith going number 2 out of Auburn. He's had a great year under Bruce Pearl. Paolo Banchero, he's been really good for Duke. Jaden Ivey out of Purdue has really climbed up draft boards of late. And then A.J. Griffin, another Dookie in Coach K's final year. They have a realistic shot to win yet another national championship. Now, the consensus top 3 prospects in this draft class, it's Chet, it's Jabari, it's Paolo. All of these players are really, really good. And all of them give you a variety of different skill sets. For Chet, he's a big guy who, yes, he lacks size, but can stroke the 3, shooting around 40% from beyond the arc. A very good rebounder, can handle for his size and be a rim protector, even though he does lack some muscle. Jabari Smith, really good, averaging 16 points per game, little shy of 7 rebounds, shooting 43.5% from the floor. You'd like to see that rise, but for the Dookie, man, 46% from the floor, 16.5 points. The first college player, by the way, to be involved in the My Team method on NBA 2K. You can play him in these video games now, which is actually pretty cool for him. Name, image, and likeness has really changed the game.
Very cool. We'll keep it moving here. Who's the top prospect in this draft class? Man, I wish I could put about 35 pounds on Chet Holmgren.
Yes, me too.
That would make me feel a lot better about him because I think he's the most skilled player in this draft. Let us know what you guys think. Top prospect for 2022. We'll go 6 through 10 here with Jalen Duren out of Memphis going to the Thunder at number 6.
Yeah, he goes to the Thunder as Sam Presti just continues to have a bunch of draft assets at his disposal. Johnny Davis has been playing really good basketball for Wisconsin this year. Shaedon Sharpe, up and down year with Kentucky, but has all of the talent to be a very good player. Upside selection there. If he does end up going to the San Antonio Spurs, they could use another key young player. Keegan Murray out of Iowa. He's risen up some draft boards as well, going to Portland at number 9. And then Ty Washington, also out of Kentucky, also going to the Portland Trail Blazers at number 10. You take a look at what Duren has been able to do under Penny Hardaway this year. Penny Hardaway has done a great job of recruiting a lot of really good players to come to Memphis. That hasn't necessarily translated to a lot of wins, but Jalen's a really good player with some good size and athleticism. This year, 11.5 points, little less than 8 rebounds. 2+ blocks per game, which can really translate to the NBA level, connecting on a route 64.5% of his field goals. He is not going to light it up from distance. I'd like to see him develop his shot just a bit, but the upside and potential are certainly there. And for Johnny Davis, for Wisconsin this year, he's been one of the best bucket getters in this year's draft class, 20.5 points per game. You take a gander at the field goal percentage at 44.8 and the three-point percentage at 33 even. I'd like to see that increase just a bit, but he can really find twine and put the biscuit in the basket.
So let's compare these two guys. We just showed you the numbers. Chase broke down their games a little bit. Better prospect, type MEM for Jalen Duren, or type WIS for Johnny Davis, the Wisconsin player versus the Memphis player. Let us know. If you had to pick one guy right now, who are you leaning with?
I like Johnny Davis because I think the most important quality right now is being able to score the basketball, and Johnny Davis does that better than Jalen Duren.
Especially at all 3 levels. Get your votes in on that one. Hey, by the way, subscribe, obviously, to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv, which is what you're probably watching this on right now. Hit that big red button. But variety of team channels, Chase, as well. The Lakers Report, which is across 41,000 subscribers. We'll cycle through these links below, youtube.com/LakersTV. Golden State Warriors today recently crossed 27,000 subs. Go check that out, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Dallas Mavericks today at almost 16,000, youtube.com/MavsTV as well. And then 3 of our smaller channels that are starting to grow pretty quickly, especially our Knicks and Sixers channel. Those one are closing in on 5,000. We also have a Celtics channel at about 8,500 subs. Again, cycling through the links, youtube.com/CelticsTV, YouTube.com/KnicksTV, and then YouTube.com/76erstv. 6 team channels for the NBA. And hey, as those continue to grow, if you're fans of other teams, then we'll continue to be able to create more channels in the future. So support those, and we would greatly appreciate it. Let's go 11 through 15 here now, Chase. Who stands out in this bunch?
Yeah, of these players, I really like E.J. Liddell, and all of these players, they bring a blend of different skills to the NBA level. Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona, Dyson Daniels from the G League Ignite. We continue to see players who go the G League route getting opportunities right away at the NBA level, like Jonathan Kuminga as well as Jalen Green. They were teammates with the G League Ignite. Ochai Agbajabi.
Ochai Agbaji.
Yeah, help me out there.
This is a classic Bill Self player, 4-year college player, Naismith finalist this year. He's just one of those guys that stuck around, and he's a 25-point scorer now. So.
Yeah, and Marjan Beauchamp out of the G League Ignite, too. Really, I want to focus in here, though, on E.J. Liddell. Him going back to Ohio State has had a similar impact of Ayo Dosunmu going back to Illinois last year. Both of these guys hail from the great state of Illinois. Used to work in Springfield, watched both Ayo and E.J. Liddell play some high school basketball, but you look at how E.J. Liddell's work in the lab has paid off, and him just coming back to college for a 3rd year has paid big dividends. The numbers are up all across the board, and because of that, he's gone from a back half of the first-round guy last year, maybe even second-round guy, to being a borderline lottery pick this year. He's a little bit undersized, but he makes up for that with his ability to knock down some three-point shots. 16 points per game up to 19.5. Rebounds up from less than 7 to 7.5. Blocks per game up from 1 to 2.5. Field goal percentage up to 51. And three-point percentage, yes, it's shorter from the college ranks, right? But 39% from 3 is really impressive for a forward who in today's NBA can play a little bit of small ball 4, maybe even small ball 5, and you can still get away with him being on the floor in that way.
I think he definitely fits into this category as a sleeper prospect because people forget about those 3- and 4-year college players. Well, a lot of them become good players in the NBA, as we've seen in recent years with the Desmond Banes of the world, the Ayo Dosunmus of the world, guys who went back to college. Who's the most slept-on prospect in this class? Maybe E.J. Liddell is a guy to keep an eye on. 16 through 20 here. Tell us a little bit about this grouping.
Yeah, Tari Eason, Kendall Brown, Walker Kessler, Ousmane Dieng, and Gene Montero. What's kind of the common theme here, especially at picks 19 and 20? The New Zealand Breakers, you go international there, and you take a shot on a prospect who might have some upside in this back half of the first round, and then Gene Montero, G League Ignite. So the G League Ignite, it's pretty interesting. Like, you look at that team kind of like you look at Kentucky. You were betting on players being better at the NBA level than they were either with Kentucky or with the G League Ignite because they simply weren't given as many opportunities on more stacked rosters. So you're taking a little bit of a gamble, and you're unsure as to how that game translates. But, of course, at this point, the ability in the first round is certainly on the table.
How do you guys value draft picks? You think it's overrated, underrated? You know, you got Sam Presti, who's got about 30 first-round picks over the next 5 years. Slight exaggeration, but he's got a bunch. You think it's overrated? Type Y for yes. If you're like, no, draft picks are good to have, type N for no. I like having them, Chase, because even if you don't use them, you can flip them for good players.
You can. Lakers would like to have a few. Les Snead doesn't care at the NFL level.
Yeah, exactly. So let us know, yes or no. 41 through 25 as we break down ESPN's latest mock draft. Not Nikola Jokic, Chase. Nikola Jovic.
Yeah, he's one of the best international prospects in this year's class. I like his size. I like his ability to do a bunch of things on the floor. I think he could rise up some draft boards. Jaden Hardy, another player from the G League Ignite. Mark Williams out of Duke going to Milwaukee there at number 23. Trevor Keels also out of Duke going to the Chicago Bulls. I like their collection of young talent in addition to some players who are obviously established veterans. Patrick Baldwin Jr., really cool story. Goes to Milwaukee, obviously not a basketball powerhouse. As recent as earlier this year, a couple months ago, a couple years ago, he wasn't on any draft radars. He's legitimate and should be taken as such to go in the first round here.
If you love the NBA draft, like this video. We love it here at Chat Sports. Chase and I will be live whenever it happens. What is that? First week of June, second week of June, sometime in there. We'll be live. We'll be breaking down every single pick. Like the video, and of course, between now and then, tons of draft rumors, mock drafts. We'll probably do some prospect breakdowns. So keep it here with Chat Sports. All right, let's wrap up this ESPN NBA mock draft, 26 through 30 here. Anybody stand out here?
J.D. Davison's hair goes to Alabama, probably the best head of hair in this year's draft class. Kennedy Chandler for a Tennessee team, really good player. Shout out to Petey. Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has kind of fallen under the radar.
They've had a sneaky good year.
They've had a sneaky good year, but the last couple of years, they haven't really been as good as they've been in the past. So a player like Blake Wesley can be slept on a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Who has a legitimate prospect who didn't go in round one? Who is a legitimate prospect, I should say. Are there any names on your radar yet that didn't get into this ESPN mock?
Man.
It's early in the process.
It's so early. I like some of those players at the end of the first round. I think they could slip in future mocks into that second round. So in that sense, like some of those players could be sneaky.
Here's a name you know, and he doesn't really fit the modern NBA, but Kofi Coburn.
Oh, yeah.
Is he a guy
That's
worth
a good
taking
one.
in round two?
Look, like he
can
can't
score.
do anything outside of putbacks, dunks. He's probably one of the better polarizing athletes in this year's draft class. Blocking shots, great rebounder. He is so gifted and so strong. He just can't do anything outside of some of those limited skills. He's an old school big, not a modern day big. Because of that, I think he slides into the second, but worthy of a second round selection for sure. Physical dominance for sure.
Hit that subscribe button like we mentioned because more NBA news, rumors, draft coverage here at Chat Sports. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, we'll do more mock draft coverage in the future. All right, we got a super chat during that segment from Orphanage Builder DeGrom. As a Spurs fan, we are not taking a guard. We need a forward like Paolo, prayers for a good lottery pick. We have like 4 starting caliber guards. Thoughts?
Yeah, like it depends on what approach you take at your draft position, which is right now in the lottery.
I mean, they traded Derek White. So
they traded Derek White, and he can be he's a guard / forward. But do you go BPA, best player available, or do you draft for need? At the NBA level and really at all levels in sports, I go best player available.
Especially in the NBA.
You get that talent in-house, especially in the NBA,
yeah.
and you find a way to make it work, and maybe you offload some of the other players on the roster.
I mean, I look at like what Cleveland and Sacramento have done recently, right? Like, Cleveland drafted Darius Garland. Like, yeah, like, as soon as they did that, I was like, okay, him and Colin Sexton aren't going to exist long-term, but he was the best player, so they took him. The Kings did it with Tyrese Halliburton. Now, they traded the wrong guy, but taking him when they did made sense, even though they already had a point guard in place in De'Aaron Fox. So I think you take the best player and figure out the rest later. Oh, here we go. Top 3 cereals as producer Chugs continues to cook up the questions here. Man. You have a top 3 off the top of your head here? I was a big cereal guy in college.
I'm not a huge cereal guy nowadays. I do like the apple cinnamon Cheerios, I think are really slept on.
I'm a big Honey Nut Cheerios
The
guy.
milk following those, it just goes down different. The Reese's Puffs are really good too if you're fixing for some peanut butter like Tom Downey.
The best cereals are the ones that like give the milk a little more kick at the end of it.
Lucky Charms are always good because you get the marshmallow in there.
We got a comment. Oh, from Rashard Lee. Hey, Magic Spoons.
Magic Spoon, Rashard. There you go.
Our friends from Magic Spoon. Tom acting like that was the most innovative answer of all time. But, that my go-to for years was Honey Nut Cheerios, but had to cut that out of the diet, unfortunately.
Too much sugar.
Yeah.
Added sugar, too.
Cocoa Puffs are good. I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but
Pops are good.
Are in or out on Lucky Charms?
Oh, in.
They're not my favorite, but I'll eat it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Jeremy, what's
Cinnamon
your top
Toast
3?
Crunch from NBA Tyson.
Jeremy, you're the food connoisseur.
Top 3?
Are you a big cereal guy still?
Yeah, I love cereal.
I used to love late night cereal.
Honey Nut Cheerios. It's so simple.
That's what
it's
I'm
so
saying,
good.
man.
Honey Nut Cheerios are
so underrated.
I gotta go Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs. I smack some Cocoa Puffs whenever they're around. And then third, Ooh, unpopular opinion, I really like Fruit Loops too.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm fine with Fruit
Oh,
Loops.
and Captain Crunch, but it has to be the berry one.
Okay. Were you blowing cereal chunks when you were sick?
What about Frosted Flakes?
No.
Not
Oh,
like me, right?
Y'all Frosted Flake? Y'all Frosted Flake? Well, yeah, that's different.
If you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, try the Cinnamon Frosted Flakes too. Those are really good.
Cinnamon Frosted Flakes. All right.
Big cereal
What
guy,
are you guys
Jeremy.
saying? I'm seeing a Cinnamon Toast
Chuggy
Crunch.
cereal.
I'm seeing Cocoa Puffs from King Higgins. Oh, we got another super chat before we get to our next NBA segment. King Rail, off-topic question with the USFL starting up. Let's get Downey in here. Can you see another big basketball league coming that could start after the finals? And I'm not talking about the big three.
At this point, no, because it's way too late in the process.
Well, and the reason I'll also say no is unlike football, basketball is a global and international sport.
Yeah.
The reason these spring leagues keep popping up is, yeah, there's the CFL and, the Arena League had some success for a while, but it's not global and year-round, whereas basketball, you can play in a professional league year-round if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, they exist in Europe and some other continents.
And they have the G League, so it's like you already have.
You've already got the G League. Now, maybe part of the G League could be in the off season, but the problem with that is, a lot of those players are trying to get up into the NBA. So,
Yeah, the basketball tournament is actually pretty entertaining.
It's pretty
There's always
fun.
$1 million on the line. That always happens during
maybe
the
the
off-season.
better thing there would to make like a season out of that, and then the tournament is at the end of the season. Have like a 10-game season for those teams, and then you do a tournament at the end. That could be pretty cool. But yeah, there some of those kind of exist, but yeah, it's different from the USFL. There's no doubt. All right, we'll get back into the NBA coming up here on Any Given Thursday. Harrison Graham and Shea Sr. with you as NBA basketball is back after the All-Star break is over, and Sixers fans are getting their popcorn out because James Harden set to make his Sixers debut, Chase. I know you're fired up. You ready?
Can't wait.
You
Can't
ready?
wait to see him team up with Joel Embiid. I saw him from the wing practicing, knocking down some triples, and somehow
And he lost
James
25
Harden
pounds.
is on the best diet of all time. When he got traded from the Rockets to the Nets, overnight he was able to shed 15 pounds. He gets traded from the Nets, where he looked overweight, to the Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe he was working out at Delilah's and he's able to shed some more weight. Looks really, really good. And I think he's rejuvenated, re-energized by the change of scenery. And he's reunited with Daryl Morey, playing alongside Joel Embiid. I think that two-man game can be really, really special for Philadelphia.
So we're looking forward to that. But let's actually talk about the guy that left, Ben Simmons. Herb McGee calling him out. Catch us up on this story.
Yeah, so Herb McGee has been coined as the shot doctor. Now, he's coached at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia since the late 60s, but always works with a bunch of NBA players because he helps them work out their form and just them work out some of the flaws in their shooting strokes. So when Brett Brown was the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, he approached Herb McGee, who, as I talked about, has been coined the shot doctor, and tried to get Herb to work with Ben Simmons. Now, Herb was all about working with Simmons on his stroke, which Ben Simmons has never showed a willingness to improve on, but Ben Simmons didn't want to work with Herb. So Herb McGee was asked about this, and yeah, we continue to throw shade toward Ben Simmons. Some people are in the comment section saying, why do you continue to talk about Ben Simmons? One of the biggest names and storylines in the NBA, that's why. Herb said this: that's not going to happen. My wife and I, Jerry, when we go out to dinner, we go shopping, I'll get pulled aside. Coach, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. When are you going to work with Ben Simmons? I said, that's not going to happen. I said the same answer all the time. Brett Brown, who I became friends with, he asked me to do it one day, and I said, I will, but you've got to ask Ben Simmons, and he never got back to me. So obviously Ben is the type of guy who doesn't really want to improve. Could I help him? Of course, but let's be honest. I've never seen you play, but you could help him too, because he really needs it. It's a shame that Ben Simmons never really wanted to work on his offensive game. And the national media narrative about how Philadelphia has treated Ben Simmons is hilarious to me. He's drafted number 1. He goes out to the Las Vegas Summer League. He balls out. He's knocking down some fadeaways, baseline jumpers, and some three-point shots. He gets injured. Then once he comes back after missing his rookie season, he never shoots at all. And Philadelphia became frustrated with Ben Simmons over time because they saw how much potential that this guy has as an NBA prospect, physical ability of a LeBron James, but never did anything to expand his offensive arsenal, and because of that, he had shortcomings in the playoffs. Philadelphia had shortcomings in the playoffs, and after supporting him for years, they became frustrated because as a point guard, you can't shoot just north of 30% from the free throw line in the playoffs when you're passing up free dunks. That's why Philadelphia got frustrated.
What's going to be wild is, so there's been some clips, some photos surfacing that Ben Simmons working with Kyle Korver, who, I'll be honest, I didn't even know he was working with the Nets as like
an assistant
like
coach,
deep
developmental
coach, developmental type. There were some photos. Oh, Ben Simmons in the lab with Kyle Korver, one of the best shooters of this past generation. Could you imagine if game one he pulls up from 30 and just drains one?
It's not going to surprise me at all, and I kind of expect it. Look, if he develops a corner three, he's a jump shot away from being a top 15 player in the NBA because he does everything else really well.
Yeah.
And can he be re-energized by going to Brooklyn, wanting to prove the detractors wrong? And he's like, you know what? Y'all said I can't shoot. I'm going to shoot. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens on that front. That's the latest with Ben Simmons. How about this? Will Simmons start shooting with the Nets? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I could see this happen like the first game or two. They draw up a couple of plays just for that narrative to get out there.
Yeah.
See, y'all said he doesn't work. He does. And then, like, he actually stopped shooting after, like, 2 games when they script some shots for him. I could see that happen. And let us know what you guys think on that front. Let's talk a little bit more about Harden and what we can expect. Apparently, he likes what he's seeing from the young gun and Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, and on Philadelphia 76ers now earlier this week, make sure you subscribe by hitting that big red button. I put together 5 lineups that Doc Rivers can use now that James Harden is on the team. And I still think that Tyrese Maxey is going to start alongside James Harden. My prediction for the starting 5 Friday night against Minnesota, it's going to be Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. I think that starting 5 is really, really good. And a lot of people expected, okay, because James Harden is so ball dominant, because he's run point in the past and has flourished in doing so, is Tyrese Maxey going to go to the bench? I don't like that idea because I want to see the development for Tyrese Maxey continue this year, averaging around 17 points per game, barely turning the basketball over. And I like having 2 shooters and James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. I also like having 2 elite ball handlers, and James Harden, a fan of Tyrese Maxey, as is all of Philadelphia. He said this, you love that young, and I love this, Harrison, turnt energy that he has. He's getting more comfortable. He's being ultra aggressive. He's making the right reads. I can't wait to have that pace. I feel like we can complement each other. And I agree, especially in that fast break, but also in the half court. And part of the reason why the Sixers struggled so mightily in the playoffs in the half court with Ben Simmons, he wasn't a threat to shoot, wasn't a threat to really operate the offense as the point guard. Now, you have 2 options who can do that, who have different games in Tyrese Maxey as well as James Harden. So really like that back and forth component that Maxey and Harden can offer, and I think you're going to expect to see that, and you are going to see it once Harden makes his debut for Philly.
Hey, I'm all in after bringing the word turnt back. I feel like word, we left that in the last decade. Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying because that's an elite word.
I love getting turnt.
Yeah, hey, same. No doubt about
Ain't scared.
it. How pumped are you for Harden's debut, and are you going to get turnt for this game? Scale from 1 to 100, 1 being you're a Nets fan and like Ben Simmons, 100 being you're fired up as hell to see James Harden tee it up with Joel Embiid. Let us know in the comments section. All right, so let's see what the people are saying. Are you guys fired up? You turnt for this debut of James Harden?
Dude.
What'd you say, 25 points?
Can't wait. Yeah, 25 points. That's my prediction.
All right, holding you to it. We'll see what happens. 100 from Jimmy in the chat. Let's see. Someone says, I like KD shooting over a triple team over Simmons taking an open shot. Same, honestly. Let's see.
Bottom Boy Phelps said Simmons might start shooting more. I can see that. He just wants to prove people wrong. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. He's got the talent, man.
Chow says 100 as well. All right, better player, James Harden or Tracy McGrady?
Ooh.
This is a good one.
Better rocket.
Harden's longevity is certainly better, but I think McGrady's peak was better.
Did you tell me the other night you were at that game where he just spun
No,
off?
I wasn't at it,
You
but
were
I
watching it
remember
live?
vividly watching it live with
What
my
was it, like
dad.
20 points in 12 seconds or whatever?
13 points in 35 seconds.
Yeah.
20 points in 12 seconds.
Yeah, something crazy.
Could you imagine? What was this, the All-Star game? I think T-Mac's peak was better, but Harden's obviously had a more longevity career.
Dude, Harden's MVP season, I believe, was like averaging 34 points per game.
Yeah. Different, just
Rules did change
teams
for
weren't
Harden,
scoring like that.
and it catered to
15
Harden.
years ago.
Yeah, there's no
like
doubt.
if peak T-Mac played today, he'd average 30 plus.
I agree.
Yeah. T-Mac
With some of the rule changes,
T-Mac was
his size.
I think peak T-Mac was better than or was up there with like peak Melo, if not a little better. He just didn't last as long.
T-Mac over peak Melo.
T-Mac, when he was at his peak for like 3 or 4 years,
What does Marsh think?
was a beast. Now Melo, like Harden, much more longevity, but
Melo
well, of course he's a Knicks fan.
at the peak. Yeah, I agree.
Man.
I think Harden's better than T-Mac too.
Look, I got to look up some numbers here.
Yeah.
Chugs has got me. He's got me bent now. Dude, T-Mac in 02-03. This is with Orlando, by the way. 32 points from the field on 46%, 39% from three.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good, dude.
That's good, man.
It's pretty damn good.
Here
Let's
he
see
goes.
Melo's. Let's see Melo's peak. I'm talking about peak. I'm not. Anthony's had a better career. There's no doubt. We're getting Marsh on the mic.
Tracy McGrady averaged 20 points 8 times.
That's not what I'm talking about, though.
Melo did it 16 straight years.
That's
no,
pretty impressive.
Yeah, Melo's a better player in career. There's no doubt. Also, Melo's highest career points per game, 28.7. McGrady's 32.1.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. I said McGrady's peak is better than Melo's peak. 4 points? You act like that's nothing. It's 2 buckets.
Yeah.
Did T-Mac never get second in the MVP? He might have.
Okay, so somebody brought up a good point. What about T-Mac in the playoffs?
Yeah, no.
Melo had more
What's-
playoff success.
Yeah, but it's not like
It's not saying much. Yeah, never got out of the first round. for
Melo
T-Mac.
made what? One conference finals with the Nuggets, second round with the Knicks. Look, Melo's a better player. I'm just saying McGrady's peak was like, dude, he was a freaking beast.
Yeah. No, he was.
He was a beast. Yeah, he couldn't
Yeah.
stay healthy after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. A little debate there. It was from 01. He averaged 24 or more for 7 years.
Yeah, he had about
I
an
mean,
8-year stretch
yeah.
where he was phenomenal.
Yeah. For 8 years, he averaged, let's look at this chunk real quick. For that 8 years, he averaged 26.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty damn good. All right, a little tangent there. It's always fun. Appreciate the debate from Jeremy Chugs. Marsh jumping in. Let's jump into the Dallas Mavericks, see what they're up to as the second half set to get underway here. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. here on Any Given Thursday by Chat Sports. The Dallas Mavericks set to get their second half of the season underway as they look to move up in the Western Conference standings. Let's take a look ahead, though, to the offseason, kind of tie it back to the trade deadline as well, Chase. A lot of rumors around Jalen Brunson and his future. Obviously, they did not trade him. They want him to be a part of their future. Well, Tim McMahon, who's covered the Mavs in the NBA for a while, he's based out of Dallas, hopped on the Low podcast with Zach Lowe, Low Post podcast, excuse me, and basically said, yeah, both sides want to stay with each other, but Brunson ain't taking a discount. And that chatter of 4 years, $80 million, it's real. He's going to get the bag this offseason.
I think he deserves it, and I think the Mavericks should give it to him. I think he's an important figure to the Mavericks culture with what they're trying to build. I think this year he's really proven that he can be a nice sidekick to Luka Doncic. His emergence, I think, is a big reason why the Mavericks never ended up seriously pursuing a guy like Goran Dragic. And a player like Jalen Brunson, he's going to get that 4-year, $80 million contract just like Jordan Poole is with the Golden State Warriors. And frankly, I think Jalen Brunson is a better all-around player.
Yeah, and here's what McMahon said, and he's one of those guys that, there's reporters all across sports for certain guys that cover certain teams. They say something, and you're like, okay, there's like,
That's
you just
legit.
trust what they say.
Yeah.
Here's what he had to say about Brunson and the Mavs. He said, quote, "This I know. Jalen Brunson's preference would be to stay in Dallas. He ain't taking a discount to do it, though. He wants to get paid, period, preferably in Dallas. Brunson's going to get the bag, and if Dallas doesn't give it to him, someone else will. That's why they aren't able to extend him right now, because currently the max extension they can give Jalen Brunson is what they gave Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 years, $55 million. Brunson on July 1st, once free agency starts, can get whatever he can get more than that. It can go up to 80, 85 million, 90 million, whatever. The restriction cuts off. So that's why he has not agreed to a contract right now, because some team out there, and I think Dallas will end up doing it, and they should because he continues to get better, will give him $20 million a year. I really think it's going to happen. So prepare yourself, Mavs fans. He is going to get the bag. Is Jalen Brunson worth $20+ million per year? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Listen, man, if he keeps improving, I think the answer is yes. And you look at kind of his development, Chase, and you watched him up close back when he was at Villanova. You look at his first 2 years, came in as an early second-round pick, which was a joke, by the way. Should have been a top 20 pick. Pretty good signs early on. And then these last 2 years, you've really seen him take off and show why he's a guy worthy of getting $20 million a year.
Yeah, no, he's a really exceptional player, and had an opportunity to watch him live a few weeks ago in that comeback win over the Sixers. And we just make too much of basketball players who don't have this incredibly, I guess, twitchy body. Like Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson. They're not the most twitchy athletes, right?
No.
But they use their bodies and strength and their size to free up some space offensively, to get some shots off, to get those scoop layups off. And they're also both really good passers. Obviously, Luka's in a different stratosphere in terms of passing the basketball, but the point here being, like, Jalen Brunson can do a bunch of different things well. He's still young. He still has a bunch of upside in a playoff series. I think this is a guy that you really want on the floor. Last year, I thought it was weird how he didn't really play as much in the playoffs as he did in the regular season. This year, he's proved those detractors wrong.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point there. I think the number one thing that makes a basketball player good is understanding who you are as a player.
Yeah.
No one gets that better than Jalen Brunson.
No.
Like, he knows exactly what his strengths are. He's
a little off shoulder.
He's improved those. He's improved his weaknesses. That's something Russell Westbrook has never figured out. He's never figured out how to maximize his strengths and try to avoid his weaknesses. If you understand who you are as a player, that's going to take you a long way in its own. So we'll have to monitor what happens with him this offseason. Also, this coming in from Shams earlier on Thursday, the Mavericks are signing forward Moses Wright of the NBA G League's Agua Calientina to a two-way NBA deal, sources tell The Athletic.
Yeah.
So
6'9" forward, undrafted rookie out of Georgia Tech.
So he fills in a two-way contract there. We'll see how that ends up playing out. Obviously, the Mavs did not end up getting Goran Dragic as he signed with the Brooklyn Nets. All right, Mavs fans, make sure to subscribe to our Mavericks-only channel, youtube.com/MavsTV. That is the link, even though Jeremy can't find it. Go ahead and subscribe for more Mavericks videos on our Mavericks-only channel. Oh, we got another debate, Chase. Better career, Ja Morant or Luka? I do think, I am biased, of course. I do think there's been a lot of recency bias, and I think Luka saw some of it, which is why he went off the past month Ja's better than Luka now. I still think it's Luka, but that does not mean Ja can't have a terrific career. We saw it with Trae Young last year. Trae made the conference finals. He's better than Luka. No, he's not.
Dude, it's tough. What is it, year 4 for Luka now?
Year 4 for Luka, year 3
Luka,
for Ja.
and his numbers through the first 4 years are almost identical to LeBron James.
Yeah.
That's just a different level.
Yeah.
Now,
Ja's terrific.
Ja Morant is terrific, and if Luka's 1A, then Ja is 1B among some of the young players in the NBA.
I just look at their two
If
games.
you side with Ja, you're thinking that he's going to be more devoted to staying in shape, and sometimes that's been a concern with Luka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the people say.
I think the problem here is, just break it down. What does Ja do better than Luka? He's a better athlete.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a slightly better three-point shot,
Slightly better
but Luka in the
defender.
playoff, man, Luka last year, now this year he hasn't been as good of a defender because he came in out of shape, but the last month or so he's gotten into much better shape. Luka last year was actually a plus defender, according to all the metrics. So.
Some of the people are saying some valid points here. So Ovea saying, them knees don't hold up if you play like Ja. We've seen knees not hold up with that type of playing style.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose being one of them. Gerard Sullivan, hopefully I pronounced that right. Ja relies on athleticism a lot. He does. Sadistic Cowboy saying he's a clear 2 next to Luka.
Yeah.
So the audience really siding with Luka here.
I don't want to say it's not close, but I do think there's a gap.
Yeah.
I do think Luka, like if you anonymously polled all 30 GMs, I think it would be 29, if not all 30.
We got to call these questions the Chuggy Heaters.
The Chuggy Heaters. I love the debates.
It's like a Marlboro 100. Chuggy Heater.
That's good stuff. What year is it? All right, let's talk about the Lakers next here, or is, which team we going to? Oh man,
Chuggy with the links.
Chuggy's skipping. Yeah,
Lanky Chugs.
Chug's getting good questions up.
Chuggy in the wild.
Following the script, that's a different story. All right, let's catch you guys up on the purple and gold. He's Chase Sr. I'm Harrison Graham. Let's get into some Lakers news and rumors, Chase, with the second half of the season here. Man, you know, if you may want to close your eyes if you don't want to trade LeBron, because that's actually the topic of today's show. Why are we talking about this? Catch the audience up here.
We're talking about this because the Lakers are in a precarious situation right now where they don't have a lot of draft capital moving forward. They're extremely tight on cash, and the roster right now is underperforming.
Yep.
And some make the argument that LeBron James is to blame for the current status of the Los Angeles Lakers, where they're a few games below 500 coming out of the All-Star break. And the last 2 years, they have failed to reach expectations. Now, last year, a big reason for that, all of the injuries. But people are looking at the future of Los Angeles and saying, okay, yes, LeBron James is still at the peak of his powers, even at the age of 37 years old, but he's making a lot of money. He's set to be a free agent after 2022, 2023. During the All-Star break, he openly talked about leaving Los Angeles. He's expensive moving forward. He's going to continue to get older, not any younger. Is the time right now to trade LeBron James? This coming from Colin Cowherd on The Herd. LeBron has missed 75 games the last 4 years. He's getting older, and he's not nearly as dominant on the defensive end. I would prefer the Lakers keep LeBron, trade AD, and blow it up this offseason. But so what if you have to trade him? LA has a history. We just get the next guy. Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, LeBron. Of course, that list goes on and on and on. Got to mention Kobe Bryant. But the point here being, the Lakers have had no issues, even after some down years, of pivoting from one superstar and somehow finding another. Could they do that with LeBron, retool and rebuild with some really good young pieces if they traded him away?
And I think that this is kind of the, what's the word? This is kind of the roller coaster of LeBron. He's going to get you a title, which he already has, when you trade.
And it's going to happen fast.
But there's always
the long view,
there's always drama. There's going to be multiple coaches. Like, if they run a bat next year and they're a first-round exit or they don't even make the playoffs, Vogel's gone. You could pretty much book that. Especially, I mean, some say David Blatt wasn't set up for success. You know, there's all kinds of stories out there. But the point being is, this is the story of LeBron, Chase. He's going to win you games. You're going to win a title. But by the middle or the end of the tenure, you're glad you did it, but you're also like, it's kind of a headache at this point. Like, you know, he wanted Russell Westbrook. Well, you get him, and look what's happened. Like,
what he does is, from a team-building philosophy standpoint, he prioritizes veterans instead of developing younger players, and he's trying to compete for championships right now in the current window. Because of that, he costs you down the road. Now, Cleveland, in the early part of his tenure, they didn't surround him with the necessary pieces to seriously win an NBA championship. And his relationship with Dan Gilbert caused him to flock to South Beach to go to Miami. But even with the Heat, he wore out his welcome there. He comes back to Cleveland, wins a title, leaves for Los Angeles, wins a title in year 2 with the Lakers, And now
he's saying
look at Los Angeles.
I won't close the door on a Cleveland
Exactly
return.
right.
I mean, it's just, it's like
that door is ajar.
He sees the writing on the wall, and he's like, oh, the Cavs are good again? I got a crib out there. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes with LeBron. Here's Bill Plaschke on LeBron saying, at this point in his career, there really is only one way LeBron can help the Lakers win a championship. They must trade him. It's their best chance at getting the fastest start on their inevitable rebuild. It's their last chance to fix the Lakers brand before it sinks into what could be a decade of mediocrity. I don't know about a decade of mediocrity because it is the Lakers. Players want to go there. But his point's well taken. Like, if you don't, let's just say LeBron plays his last 2 years out of his contract here. I mean, there's a decent chance after that he would either retire or sign elsewhere.
Yeah.
If you're not winning by this time next year, like, what if you get to the deadline next year, Chase? And
Can you imagine?
And you're below 500. Like, do you consider trading him at that point?
Yeah.
I
A
think you
LeBron
have to.
trade at the deadline.
I think you would have to at that point, though. Like, if before the deadline next year, you're like, we ain't winning with this core. Don't you have to consider trading him because he's probably not going to re-sign at that point?
Get a haul back from a desperate
You're
team.
going to get like 4 firsts and like 3 good young players.
Yeah.
I mean, even at a 38-year-old
And what, no
LeBron.
first-round picks until 2027? You get that back right away.
You could fast-track that rebuild like that if you traded LeBron. I'm not saying you do it, but hey,
Also, Jalen Rose saying LeBron should take the minimum to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh my. Well,
if he's serious about winning a championship.
Hey, man. That's,
so there's that as well.
That would be something. Should the Lakers trade LeBron and rebuild? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Let us know what you guys think on this one. I know the comment section on this video, it's going to be popping. Oh, another heater for us. What are you guys saying? Harry says yes. Marcel and King say yes as well. All right, better sidekicks for LeBron. Kyrie and Kevin Love, Wade and Bosh. I actually don't think this is that close. I think it's Wade and Bosh. I think Wade, at least
way more dependable too.
Wade, outside of injury concerns, was better than Kyrie, especially defensively.
Yeah.
That's not even close. And then I think Bosh is better than Kevin Love too.
The reason why I put this is because, honestly, when he was with those teams, like when LeBron was with the Heat and when LeBron was with the Cavs, I think Kyrie is the best player out of all 4.
I think the 1 year he won the title with Kyrie, that was his best sidekick that 1 year. But I think overall, the run with Wade and Bosh compared to Kyrie and Love was better. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's
that playoff run when they won the title, Kyrie was really good. But outside of that, he's been super unreliable in his career.
Yeah, no, I agree. Way too unreliable.
But
Not
that
consistently
one
better.
year though, he deserves credit. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. But
Hey, Kyrie did hit the shot, man.
yeah.
LeBron had the block. Kyrie hit the shot.
Let's see what people were saying. Wade
Evan
and Bosh.
Hinders, LeBron to Chi-Town. Trade LeBron to Dallas from Rashard Lee.
Guys, let me ask you this though: you trade D Wade for Kyrie in that series, do they come back?
No, probably not. That's why I said for that one year
Yeah,
in that one series,
that's a good question.
Kyrie was the best team, probably the best sidekick he's ever had.
Yeah.
But that's 1 year out of how many years he played? 8 years with those guys, 4 in Miami, 4 in Cleveland. So I think the Wade and Bosh tandem was better overall. But and they won 2 titles compared to 1. I think that factors in as well. All right, a couple more segments to go. We'll catch you guys up on the Warriors coming up next here. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors here on Any Given Thursday by Chat Sports. Second half of the season getting underway in the NBA. Chase, Warriors kind of ended the first half in a little bit of a skid, but hopefully some guys are going to get healthy soon. But oh, here's a topic for you that Chase has cooked up. Should the Warriors trade for LeBron James, this offseason?
They could do it this offseason. They have the necessary pieces on that roster and a little bit of draft capital if they seriously wanted to trade for LeBron James to pull the trigger. Now, because the Lakers are in the spot that they're in, 9th place in the Western Conference coming out of the All-Star break, LeBron is frustrated with the situation in LA. He went as far as to say, I'm not going to say I'm going to finish my career with the Lakers during the All-Star break, open up the door for him to return to Cleveland. There's also a clash going on between Rich Paul, his agent, and Clutch Sports, as well as the Los Angeles Lakers, because they didn't do the things that LeBron wanted them to do at the NBA trade deadline. And as we know with LeBron, sometimes these relationships get contentious. Could it get contentious and ugly to a point where LeBron asked to get traded, or the Lakers, from their point of view, want to trade away LeBron James to another team in order to hit the reset button and rebuild? Now, Bill Plaschke writes for the LA Times. He's been writing for the LA Times for a really long time. Even he is saying, trade LeBron James, in addition to national media types like Colin Cowherd. Now, here's what Bill Plaschke had to say. At this point in his career, there really is only one way LeBron James can help the Lakers win a championship. They must, repeat, must trade him. It's their best chance of getting the fastest start on their inevitable rebuild. It's their last chance to fix the Lakers brand before it sinks into what could be a decade of mediocrity. So with that, we transition to this trade idea from NBA Analysis.
Oh, yeah, baby.
The great folks at NBA Analysis. And I talk about the Warriors having the necessary draft capital and player capital to pull off this trade. If I'm the Lakers, I'd want Jonathan Kuminga, who's not involved in this trade, because I think he has superstar potential. If I'm the Warriors, I probably want to hold on to JK. But if you're the Warriors and you're trying to win a championship next year after you potentially don't win one this year, let's say that's the case, do you make this trade for LeBron? Warriors get LBJ, whose relationship with Steph Curry has improved over time. They were embracing during the NBA All-Star game after LeBron hit that game winner. And the Lakers get Andrew Wiggins, who next year is on an expiring contract, James Wiseman, Moses Moody, and multiple first-round picks. What would you do, H. Graham?
Oh, man. This is so hard because there's a world where LeBron joins Steph and Clay in the first place. It's just like so hard to even comprehend. I mean, shit, I'd probably do it if I was the Warriors.
How about this? What if
I get to keep Kuminga, I'm doing it.
What if Draymond's back injury is more serious than anybody is putting on, and you replace Draymond with LeBron James at that point forward, power forward role?
I mean, I'd probably do it if we can keep Kuminga.
That extends the career of LeBron, and you replace Draymond with a better offensive player in LeBron who also does a lot of the same things as Draymond Green. Kind of fascinating.
It's entertaining. Yeah. There's no doubt about it, and that's what NBA Analysis is all about, cooking up these trade rumors. Look, could you imagine Steph and LeBron playing together? I mean, there was a time they were the best two players in the NBA pretty much. I mean,
they're still two of the top five guys in the NBA.
Five. I mean, you know, we've seen Steph and KD work as two of the top five guys, so you know, LeBron's still a beast. He's having his best scoring year of his career at 29 points a game.
At 37 years old.
He still is a terrific distributor as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, he would fit in that standpoint as well because we know the Warriors like to move the ball. I don't know, man. It's interesting. If this somehow came together and was on the table, if I could keep Kuminga, I'd probably do it if I was the Warriors.
That's the thing, too.
Would you?
You keep Kuminga if you're the Warriors. I want to see how this year plays out.
Yeah.
And if you don't lose this year and you go off and go out in, let's say, the second round, what if it's the first round? That'd be a disaster. And then Steph, Clay, Draymond, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr, they start to get a little bit hungrier. And the hunger for another championship gets even greater. And they're like, what can we do to win it this year? LeBron James might be the best opportunity to do that.
All right. Would you make the trade? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Hey, you got to love it.
We're all about open-minded conversations here.
No doubt about it. The hypotheticals are some of the best content out there. So T for trade, P for pass, let us know. All right. Who's the closest to a title contender out of these four teams? Rockets, T-Wolves, Knicks, or Magic? Hot take. I think it's the T-Wolves, and it's not even close.
Yeah, it's the T-Wolves, man. They're actually not bad. They're battling it out to try to get into that NBA play-in tournament.
I think out of the other teams, I would go Rockets 2. I might go Knicks last just because.
Yikes, they don't have a star?
They're stuck in the mud, dude, because they've committed real money to, like, second- and third-tier guys like Julius Randle and Evan Fournier. And, you know, they paid Nerlens Noel $30 million.
Yeah. By the way, good stuff coming in from producer Coop.
Here you go. I fixed it.
Oh, who'd you dump there?
T-Wolves.
Okay, Kings are last. They're always going to be last for me. they just traded their
Congratulations, New York.
Yeah. The Knicks, you're now out of the gutter. I'd probably go Rockets. Knicks and Magic 2A, 2B, and then Kings a distant fourth.
Yeah, just want to pass along good info from producer Koopy Cup. LeVert out 1 to 2 weeks with a sprained right foot. And then this is good because we were talking about David Blatt.
I do remember this.
Cavs were 30-11 and first in the conference when they fired David Blatt. He had zero chance to succeed.
That is kind of a joke
Good stuff
that they
there from
fired a
Jeff.
coach at 30-11.
Criminal.
Oh, goodness. Old David Blatt. I think the problem with Coop's takes on David Blatt is if he was that good, wouldn't he have gotten another NBA job? Why is he not an NBA head coach?
Yeah. Was he just cool with coaching overseas, maybe?
I mean, maybe he just intentionally went back to Israel or whatever, but, I mean, if you can get an NBA head coaching job, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't. Oh,
You got Harrison flustered there, Chugs.
Yeah, I'm just. Actually, I said, no, I didn't. What are the people saying? Rockets? Oh, come on. Is that Jeremy's burner account? I just think the Rockets are, 3 years away at least?
Sadistic Cowboy. Is none a choice? If you want.
Oh, man. That's a rough grouping right there. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, the Rockets have some good young pieces, man.
The Knicks have the best win-now talent. The problem is their win-now talent isn't good enough. So that's kind of where they're at. All right, let's talk about the Celtics here on any given Thursday. Is this juicy Celtics rumors
it's so
coming
juicy.
up here?
Just wait.
Oh, man. I don't even know what you cooked up here. Let's get into it. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. here. Boston Celtics news and rumors on Chat Sports. Chase has cooked up some juicy Celtics rumors. DJ Augustine, that screams juicy to me. Could they bring in the veteran point guard?
Yeah, did you sense the sarcasm there? Look, there are going to be a lot of players available on the NBA buyout market. Teams have until March 1st to make some of these decisions. And you look at the Celtics roster right now, what could they use? They could use a backup point guard. They could use some ball handling. They could use a floor stretcher and a shooter at that 1 or 2 guard spot. And according to John Hollinger, maybe the Celtics going to be interested in DJ Augustine. So he said this on The Athletic. Augustine was technically under contract for next year, but only $333,000 of his $7.3 million is guaranteed. Can you imagine nowadays paying DJ Augustine that much money? Wouldn't be me. With Houston rebuilding, the Rockets set him free, now to clear the way for a multi-layered deal with Boston. The issue is whether he really has anything left in the tank to help a contender. That goes back to him almost making $7.3 million. Can DJ Augustine, in his early 30s, help a playoff contender?
He can still shoot.
These are his career stats, not this year. 9.5 points per game. Throughout his career, he's connected on 41+% of his field goals, 38% from beyond the arc, and a very good free throw shooter. I think at this point, he's kind of washed. But with Marcus Smart dealing with that ankle injury, could Augustine be signed at some point down the stretch for one of the hottest teams in the NBA? Maybe. It could be added shooting for Boston, but really it doesn't do much for this basketball team.
I wonder if they took a swing at Goran Dragic at all, or if once the Mavs were out of play, he just zeroed in on Brooklyn with Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Because Dragic would have been nice.
He would have been
Boston.
good for Boston. Yeah.
That would have been a nice fit.
They've been playing really good defense, too.
They could certainly use another guard off the bench, that is for sure. What is your level of interest in DJ Augustine? Scale it from 1 to 100, 1 being he's washed, he's cooked, 100 being he's still in the prime of his career. Probably neither are true. Let us know in the comment section. Oh, this is a good one.
Told you it was juicy.
This is a good one. Will Ray Allen, now this is juicy, ever be welcomed in Boston? Now there's some conflicting stuff at the All-Star break because... Yeah,
they took a picture together, though.
Yeah, they took a picture
they
together.
Posed for a picture
but
together.
Then earlier,
all of which were
when
smiling.
Ray Allen walked by, KG was like doing one of these, and then Paul Pierce had some weird facial expression, which, no one really knows what Paul Pierce is up to these days. But I don't know.
Instagram knows.
I kind of think so does OnlyFans. I don't think so, man. I think Boston hates Ray Allen.
See, it's crazy because, he left for Miami to chase a championship. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen got together to win a championship, and they won. They won together. And Boston had plans to move on from Ray Allen anyway.
No, but not. They were going to give it 1 or 2 more years. I don't think him leaving is what pissed them off. They got pissed because they felt like he joined the enemy. It's like this was a smaller Durant going to the Warriors at the time. Yeah. It really was. This was like, okay, Ray, it's not just that you're leaving. You're leaving to go to the team that we can't beat anymore. So what the hell?
Yeah. That's
kind of what he did, and that's why they're pissed. Now I think at this point it should be water under the bridge. It's like, guys, we want a title together. Come on, But he was kind of KD before
at
KD.
This point, what that title was. 14 years
13,
ago?
14 years
Get
ago.
over it. You won a title together.
Hey, Paul Pierce, he doesn't let go of a grudge. I mean, we're talking about a drama queen in Paul Pierce. I mean, he got wheelchaired off in a game and came back in that same game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's
Robert Bruce, big Celtics fan.
Oh, yeah. Is he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Said
that.
he loves the starting lineup. Tatum, Brown, Smart, Horford, Williams, Robert Williams turned into a beast.
Yeah, he's having a nice year. Chugs? What? Oh. They don't know who Chris Beard. Do y'all even know who Chris Beard is?
Yeah. Texas coach.
Yeah,
formerly of Texas
Tech.
Texas
Tech coach. I know you guys. I'm talking about people in the comments.
RC would say Chris Beard.
Let's get Coop in here.
Buckle up.
Oh, that's good stuff, Chugs. Both from Robert Bruce. Who knows? He knows.
I'm giving y'all credit.
Disrespecting our audience.
Harrison's like, y'all don't know who Chris Beard is.
Disrespecting
Hold
our
on.
audience.
Live poll change.
It was.
I'm putting this in the live poll.
That was the biggest game of the day on ESPN2.
It was.
UT versus Tech.
It was.
Atmosphere in Lubbock was litty.
I mean, dude, they've had some nice crowds. I'll give them credit.
What's this new poll going to be?
Do you know who Chris Beard is?
Oh, the disrespect.
I'm sorry to our viewers for Harrison disrespecting your basketball knowledge.
I'm not saying you do or don't. You guys vote in the live poll. After this segment, we'll see what
results of the former poll. Who was the better trade acquisition? 51% with Harden, 30% with Ben Simmons, 17% for C.J. McCollum. He said he said I might have misspelled it. Chuggy, not a big spell guy.
He comes up with the question, spelling, not so much. All right, all right.
I've been talking so much about sports betting. Bet trail.
9 votes.
Our whole first segment was betting on.
Hey, 9 votes in. 8 out of 9 don't know who Chris Beard is. We'll see
Robert
what the results
Bruce.
are.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Harrison. Hi, Chase. Hey, Robert.
Okay, guys, before we get started, there's some words that you should know how to spell, but when it comes down to crunch time, you're like, how do you spell that word? Yeah. That's what I was right now. I
saw that graphic come up.
It's A-L at the end. You had the bet right. Bet US, bet trail.
Seahawks today. All right, let's get into Coop. Beard left for greener pastures. All right, we're off the rails here. Can we finish this up already? All right, 2 more segments. Let's talk about, or is this the last segment?
Yeah, this is it, Bull.
Thank God.
Know the show.
Right. Hey, I'm so off guard with betrayal that it happens.
Rail.
We're taking a look at this poll after this segment. I'll tell you that right now. Harrison Graham, Chase Sr. here. Let's catch you guys up on the latest Knicks news and rumors with the second half of the season underway. All right, Chase. Are we reaching a little bit on today's show? It's possible. But
trying to have some fun.
We're having fun, and we're connecting dots that maybe aren't meant to be connected.
Dead period on the NBA schedule.
They're called rumors for a reason, right? Especially internet rumors. We know the Knicks need a point guard. And now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chase, posted on Instagram a photo of himself at Madison Square Garden, and he also had the caption, I think it said,
"Be back soon."
Be back soon with a clock emoji. Now, you know, logical people would say that's because he's returning from injury.
Yes.
But why would he not use a photo at the Thunder Arena? Sending a message? You know, these athletes are calculated on social media these days.
Here's the deal with the iconic brands in the NBA. The Lakers, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Celtics, now the Golden State Warriors. I think you can throw the Miami Heat into that conversation, not as an iconic brand, but a destination in which players want to play at.
Okay.
The New York Knicks are one of those teams, and whichever superstar goes to New York has an opportunity at hand to bring that basketball team back. The Knicks making it into the playoffs last year as a 4 seed against the Atlanta Hawks, and the scene at MSG was incredible. It sent chills up my spine. I had hair raising on my arms. It was so cool to see Knicks fans back at the Garden rooting on a quality basketball team. Unfortunately, though, really since the early 2000s, outside of a couple of really good years for Carmelo Anthony, the Knicks have been an average franchise at best. Ask Stephen A. Smith, who's in shambles, about the status of the New York Knicks. And a lot of this is because of James Dolan, one of the worst owners in the history of professional sports, not just the NBA. But the Knicks are a desirable location because with basketball players, you get to take advantage of your marketability, you sell more shoes, you sell more of your brand, and for SGA, yes, he just signed that rookie max contract extension during the offseason with OKC, but which player doesn't want to play with the Knicks over the Oklahoma City Thunder? Yes, they have a passionate fan base. Yes, they sell out the arena night in, night out. But it ain't the Garden.
No.
And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he wants to get cooking at the Garden. Look at this. Can you imagine him in a Knicks uniform? He's what the Knicks need right now.
And that's my point. Why is he using a photo at MSG? I get it. He's coming back from injury. That's probably what he means. I still think there could be some calculation from his part here. Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, let's be honest. The Knicks are desperate for a point guard, and he's not a dumb guy. He probably knows that to be the case. You put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the Garden, that raises the profile and the ability of this basketball team overnight. Like, you could be from the outside looking in playoff type of team to a top 6 team in the East because you get a legitimate young star at the point guard position. That changes the direction of a franchise, and that is what this team is missing. They are starving for a point guard. Marshall Green, Chase, as I'll shift to you in a second, did a video the other day. Their starting point guards since 2009 are a joke.
Yes.
I mean, the list of guys have been just embarrassing. It's like the Cleveland Browns jersey with all the names on the back, and you're like, who the hell are these guys? It's the same thing for the Knicks at the point guard spot. SGA could change that just like that.
Look, I grew up in Philadelphia. I have respect for New York. New York is a point guard city. So the fact that they haven't had a good one in far too long is a straight up crime. And the Knicks should do whatever it takes to bring in a superstar at the point guard spot, whether that be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or another playmaking guard like Donovan Mitchell or Damian Lillard. I want to see the Knicks back because that's great for basketball. And for SGA, his development over time has been outrageous since coming out of Kentucky. Rookie year averages less than 11 points per game. Year after that takes a jump up to 19 points per game. Last year, 23.7. This year, 22.7. And really, he is a threat to dish the basketball, rebound the basketball, and score it from all three levels. He'd be an awesome player for the New York Knicks, and it's not considering the fact that he can get it done on the defensive end. So SGA, if the time is coming, come to MSG.
SGA at MSG?
Hey.
Sounds like a hashtag
Sounds like
to
a lot
me.
of shirts that we could sell on New York Knicks now.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Should the Knicks explore trading for SGA, type Y for yes, type N for no. I think it'd be fun, something to think about as we get closer to the offseason. All right, this is a non-loop sitch, by the way, J-Dog. So we're good on that. Knicks suck from Chris. Do you have one more good question cooked up, or are we? By the way, the live poll, 41 votes, 68% no, and that's okay. And that's okay, you know.
Harrison, not disrespecting our audience's knowledge.
Maybe it's more of just a affirmation of how much of a sports nerd I am.
Could be.
Because I just am addicted to this shit. So, okay. Better beard, me or James Harden?
It's pretty good.
Harden's is good, though.
Can you superimpose a picture of Harden instead of me right now?
Yeah, get right on that, Jeremy. I'm proud of the beard. I'm not gonna lie, but Harden's is next level. There was a clip when he was with the Rockets about 6 or 7 years ago where he got tripped up, and somehow a referee got tripped up too, and they slow motion replayed it. The refs whistle got caught in James Harden's beard, and it flew out. This clip's on YouTube somewhere. I got to find it. And it looked like a bird flew out of his beard. And I was like, okay, I don't know if my beard is to that level, but
Doing
that's
it for the people.
That's
There
pretty
you
good
go.
stuff. There you go. There's a
Better beard.
There's a beard.
Harry or James?
Harry or James here on Chat Sports. The road to the beard. Harrison or James Harden. What are the people saying? L2 Cloud saying me. I'll never root for Harden, so I'll say Harrison. Harden is literally nicknamed the beard. That's kind of my point. That's his nickname. That's not my nickname. So,
But yours is
my beard is elite, though.
Barrison
I
Graham.
definitely have the yeah. People have said that. Better Euro set, Manu or Harden.
Ooh.
I feel like Manu
Manu.
created it, but Harden might have taken it to the next level. I mean, Harden gets to travel
I
every
Euro
time.
step around the haters.
Harden gets to travel every time he uses it, so you've got that going.
Haters are coming at me. Euro right around them buckets.
Were you Euroing last night back to the crib?
Ooh, no, that was more of a slow-footed step.
The real ones, no.
That was a waddle.
Jalen Waddle. All right, we're going to sign off here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to another edition of Any Given Thursday. We'll be back next week. He's Chase, producer Chugs. Appreciate his fine work and that spelling. No doubt about it. He
Betrayal.
brings a lot to the table, especially on a grammatical stance. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you next week here on Chat Sports.